Hello, in today's video we're going to be looking at the government's parental leave pay scheme and how we can use KeyPay to automate those payments as part of our payroll. Let's have a look at the requirements first of all. The first thing the employee needs to do is register the business with the Department of Human Services. They need to provide the bank details and the pay cycle details for your pay run as well. The employee, up to within 3 months before the expected date of birth, lodges an application. And if that application is accepted, the employer will start receiving funds when the time comes. At the time of making this video, the payment required per week is $657 and it's paid over 18 weeks as a maximum entitlement. $657 is based on the minimum standard wage in Australia at the time of filming. The total entitlement over 18 weeks at $657 per week comes to $11,826. The employer doesn't have to provide any superannuation guarantee on top of the $657 per week payment, but they can do so if they want to. There's no entitlement to accrue leave while the employee is on paid maternity leave. So the first thing we're going to do is set up and configure a pay category. Go to Business, Payroll Settings, and Pay Categories. Click Add, and in this case we're going to call it Parental Leave Payment. It's not based on number of hours, in fact it's paid on a per weekly basis, so I'm going to change the units from hourly to fixed. As we said earlier, there's no requirement to pay superannuation, so I'm going to make that 0. If you wanted to pay superannuation on it, leave it at 9.5%. Pay-as-you-go tax is withheld on it, so I'm going to leave that unchecked. The amount is exempt from payroll tax. And we don't want the amount to accrue leave. It will appear as normal on the payment summary classification. Click Save when you're happy with those details. Now we're going to apply these settings to an employee. Go to Employee, Enlist, and choose the employee you want to give paid parental leave to. Go to Pay Rates. In this case, this employee that I've chosen is already on a salary. So by default, if we run a pay run for this employee, it's going to appear in each pay run that they're going to receive permanent ordinary hours of 38 units per week. I'm going to uncheck that box. Here I have additional earnings lines. Additional earnings lines is a feature that we can use to automatically add earnings lines to a pay run, and they can expire after a certain period of time or after a certain amount of money has been reached. To use that, click Add. Choose the pay category that you want to use. In this case, it's the pay category that we've just set up called Parental Leave Payment. You can set a location for this, or you can use the fallback location, which is called the primary location for the employee. Choose the number of units. The number of units in this case should probably reflect the number of weeks there are being represented in a pay run. In the case of this employee, they're paid once a month. On average, there's 4.33 weeks in a month, using 365 days a year divided by 12 months. So I'm going to type 4.33. If you're doing a fortnightly payroll, you might choose 2, and if you're doing a weekly payroll, you might choose 1. Now we're going to set the rate at $657 per unit. And we're not going to override this, we're going to leave the super rate there as 0. My note's going to be parental leave pay. If we left it at all future pay runs, it would never expire. Continue to pay the employee 4.33 units of $657 per pay run. I could set a date if I knew the date of the pay period that the payment should expire. But in this case, I'm actually going to use the all pay runs until the maximum amount has been reached option. This is going to allow me to set a maximum value for this particular employee that the amount can't exceed. Earlier we calculated that the total amount of this entitlement is $11,826, so that's the amount that I'm going to put here now. Click Save once you're happy with these results. This part of the employee's details screen will track the amount of payment that's been applied against this earnings line after each pay run, so we can go back and have a look at any period of time, how much has been paid and how much is left to be paid. Now let's have a go at creating a new pay run. Go to Pay Runs, New Pay Run, and click Create. When the pay run's created, go to the employee and have a look at the details. We can see in this case that the employee is getting parental leave payment on her payslip at 4.33 units at a rate of $657. So it's going to pay her $2,844.81 for the entire month of pay. If you're working this out in your head, you might work out that we'll get 3 full payments and then the last payment would be like a prorated payment. There won't be enough 4.33 units left, otherwise it'll overpay the employee. So KeyPay will work out for you what the prorated number of units is, so that the total amount equals 11,826. On the last pay run, she'll get a prorated entitlement to equate the entire entitlement value to $11,826. That's how to use additional earnings lines, and in effect, that's how we can automate parental leave pay. Thanks very much for listening.